First-person horror adventure games that are walking simulators are always interesting to check out, not so much because of the gameplay, but because of the interesting story and the particular experiences that they can offer. Today, we are checking out a game that came out on PC a few years ago, but is now available for consoles. Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy, and this is my non-spoiler review for the Sorrowvirus, a Faceless Short Story for the PS5. This game was developed by Watchmaker and published by East Asia Soft. In the Sorrowvirus, you play as Wyatt Heyll, a young man to whom the Sorrowvirus was administered to by his parents. The Sorrowvirus is a substance that takes your soul to the Purgatory after death, and the Purgatory apparently has the power to heal anything. However, you appear to be trapped there and are trying to get out. This game's story and world building is very interesting and inspires curiosity as to what happened to Wyatt and to the world around him. The game's story is told through dialogues that you can listen to, through radios and tape recorders, and through documents that you find in the environment. The game has some environmental storytelling where there are some story details around the different rooms you explore. The game features voice acting that's very good, and the story is pretty easy to follow with a lot of details just in case you want to get immersed in understanding every aspect of the story. In terms of the visuals, this game's visuals are really good. The game features some really detailed environments with some high-end graphics. In terms of performance, I have to say that the game has a consistent frame rate. However, for some reason, when you are moving around, it feels a little bit off, as if you were walking underwater. It's a little bit hard to explain. It may have something to do with how the character feels when you move, because he feels really heavy, and maybe it has something to do with the frame rate. In regards to the music, the game has only one track that runs in the background as you play through it. The music is very atmospheric and goes well with the surreal and sad tone of the game. However, it is only one song that plays throughout the entire game. In terms of sound design, the game does very little with it to shake up the experience. From time to time, you will hear the occasional voice talking to you, or you will hear the footsteps of someone running in the environment. But it almost feels like it happens randomly because it doesn't change the tone or the atmosphere of the game. In regards to the gameplay, the Sorrowvirus is a first-person horror adventure game that is basically a walking simulator, meaning that the gameplay consists of you walking and exploring the environment around you to find story pieces and find out what is happening. You will find one or two simple puzzles along the way that mostly consist of finding the numbers to a padlock or finding items to progress. To my knowledge, you can't really die. The only enemies that you find don't attack you, and they only hurt you if you get close enough to them, but I don't think you can actually die in the game. The Sorrowvirus is a very short game. You can finish the game in about an hour. The game features 4 endings, and for each ending you will have to play the game again, meaning that you could get around 4 to 5 hours of gameplay. So let's talk about the cons and the pros of this game. In regards to the cons, I have to point out 2 things. First of all, the music and sound design. The game features only one song throughout the entire playthrough. When the song ends, there's a good amount of time where there's no music at all, and it just seems sloppy and takes away from the experience. Additionally, because there's only one song playing through the entire game, it makes the game feel very one note. Finally, the game doesn't do anything significant with its sound design. Nothing ever happens to shake things up in terms of pacing and atmosphere. The other con that I would point out is the lack of more interesting gameplay. Keep in mind that this is a walking sim horror game, meaning that there isn't much gameplay in these type of games. However, the Sorrowvirus does employ some light puzzles and item finding. I feel like they could have done more with that and find more interactive ways to present the story, engaging the player in the process. In terms of its strengths, I would have to point out 2. First of all, the visuals. The game features some very nice visuals. They look very high-end. and the environments are very detailed, and it makes playing through this game a visual delight. And secondly, the story. The game has a very interesting story and leaves you wanting to know more of this world. In conclusion, the Sorrowvirus, a Faceless Short Story, has an interesting story and some very nice visuals that are sadly not enough to make it a memorable experience. The one noted atmosphere throughout the entire game that is a product of the use of one track of music, lack of sound design elements to change the atmosphere or pacing, and gameplay where you barely do anything interesting really affects the overall experience of this game. For this reason, I recommend the Sorrowvirus, but with caution. Be aware that you will be getting a very monotone game that will get lost in the myriad of incredible games that are constantly coming out, but that may be able to entertain you for a little while. So that's going to be it for my non-spoiler review for the Sorrowvirus for the PS5. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hi everyone, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our content.